Alright, let me tell you a little something about how to drop subtle visual hints in storytelling. Actually, I don't even need to tell you. Just watch any episode of Steins Gate, and there's tiny visual hints everywhere. So this episode... So we ended last episode with this, very just heavy cliffhanger of who we thought were the Rounders attacking the lab, just like they did in the previous world line. I think it was the Alpha world line that they did that. So, yeah, we ended with that, and they were after Kagari, which means that they probably know that Kagari is from the future and came back to the past. And they kind of pieced that together in the episode. Right as it seemed like they were about to get away with it, Mr. Brown stopped them, and then Suzuha came in and attacked one of them, and she managed to block the motorcycle chick, who we thought was, well, I kind of wondered if it was Moeka, but we find out later it wasn't Moeka, because she's a subordinate of the Rounders, and we find out later, after a discussion with Mr. Brown, that it wasn't the Rounders, just like I said, because it was very much a case of, I don't think Mr. Brown would have put his daughter at risk like that. And so, anyway, Suzuha went to attack as well, while Mr. Brown took out everybody else, and the one motorcycle girl blocked the kick with her arm. It's important. It's very important for later. With that, we see that Kagari was okay. She managed to make it back to Mayuri, and they fought off the group. So, that happened. Then, Kagari is taken back to the shrine with Rukiko, and she goes to sleep. Just before she went to sleep, though, she said, while in front of Rukiko, she said, Mami Mayuri. So we see Rukiko kind of piecing things together. She's like, you call me Big Sis Ruka, you call Ferris Big Sis, or Big Brother Rukiko, Rumine-san, or Big Sis Ferris, Uncle Ocarine, all that stuff. So he's a dude. He was piecing together all the stuff that he's been hearing from everybody, and hearing from Suzuha, and now hearing from Kagari. And we see that essentially, in order to kind of help Okabe maintain himself, in order to help him stay sane, or to save him, as they said, he doesn't tell Rukiko kind of what's going on. He keeps him in this world, so he remembers things before World War III, remembers things as they are, kind of an anchor to reality, which is kind of interesting. And so after all that, and after they kind of are done with their whole interaction there, we see Okabe talking with Mr. Brown, and Okabe basically just says, look, I know that you're the boss in this area, I know that you are a rounder, I know that you have Moeka as a subordinate, why did you call this attack? And he's like, I didn't call the attack, this wasn't me. How do you know all of this? Do you have any proof to back this up? And sure enough, at that point, Okabe lets him in on the multi-world lines, how many times he's traveled through world lines, the time travel, everything time travel related, he lets him in on, which is a big risk considering that the Rounders work for CERN, who are working on time travel and time machines. So that is a big tactical or strategic risk that Okabe just took there by letting a Rounder in on the fact that Okabe has already successfully time traveled. Yet the CERN still hasn't. So that's a bit of a risk, but in order to assure safety of both Mr. Brown, Nei, his daughter, and the group, while Okabe tries to find out what's going on and who wants to capture Kagari, Suzuha and Kagari are now working at the CRT shop. So yeah, there's that. Meanwhile, we see, and I keep calling them the cosplay group because I don't remember their names, and I feel really bad for that. But we see Mayuri's friends all at a cafe, and Yuki doesn't want to come, visit them. And they're kind of like, oh, you don't want to? And she's like, no, I wish I could. She holds her arm, and it's bandaged. And they're like, what happened? She's like, I fell. But it was an injury on the same arm that the girl in the motorcycle outfit used to block Suzuha's kick. And I was thinking more about this. Dorrough clearly wouldn't have taught Suzuha all of her fighting skills, all of her combat and training and stuff. And we don't really have a clear idea of what training Suzuha went through. But if Yuki is in any way tactically savvy, is in any way very good with combat, that could very well be how Suzuha learned everything that she knows. And that actually could be a very interesting battle against two formidable enemies who are mother and daughter, which is kind of weird. So there was that, and of course, now we have to kind of wait it out until we see what happens with Amadeus, because during this entire thing, the Amadeus server can't be contacted. Right towards the end, Amadeus tries to contact Okabe after Okabe called Maho and said, can you get a hold of Amadeus? She's like, no, I can't get a hold of the server. Nothing's working. Amadeus calls Okabe, and it's all staticky. It sounded like gunfire. And then Reading Steiner kicked in. And we weren't quite sure what world line he went to because the world line counter just kept on rolling as it faded to black. And then, finally, after the ending, after all the credits played and everything, we see Okabe standing by himself in the Future Gadgets lab, still dressed in black, still with his phone, and he hears somebody. He's aware that he's jumped through a world line. And he's like, who's there? Could it be Dorrough or Mayuri? Sure enough, it's Makise Kurisu, still alive. But he's not in the Steins Gate world line. That's the thing. It's before he would have tricked himself into seeing her dead. It's before that. So it's not the Steins Gate world line, but it's also not his current world line, which makes me wonder if there was a world line where he gave up on saving Mayuri, in which case she'd be dead in this world line. It would explain him still being dressed in black. It would explain, the fact that the lab was still empty apart from Kurisu. Yeah. I'm really curious to see what that means for the long term with these characters, because there's no way he's going to be able to stay in this world line, because the whole driving point is the fact that he does not want to have lost anybody, but he also wants to accept the fact that he has lost somebody. So I guess we'll find out what happens in that regard. But yeah, that was a real emotional kick in the nuts for the end of the season, end of the episode. So yeah, if you guys want to see the reaction to this episode, definitely do the thing where you go down to the description and click the link to take you over to the redirect, because that's going to be the way to do it. Oh boy, yeah. So go do that, and I'm gonna go think about what is happening, and that's it. See you guys in the next video, and I hope you enjoy the reaction.